It is now 10 o'clock and Brazos County Commissioners Court weekly court session is now in process. Commissioner Bentley Nettles will lead us in the prayer and the pledges to our flags. Commissioner Nettles.
Most Heavenly Father, we pray for our governor, for our state, and all elected officials, that you grant them and all of us grace with our unique challenges. Give us insight into the needs of our community and the discernment to make decisions to lead our community, all of our community, well. In Jesus Christ's name, amen.
Amen. Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
No recognition.
What's that?
The recognition is not here.
I don't know if they're here. The proclamation.
Yes.
You might ask if you're willing to do that.
Well, good morning. It is now time for a call of citizen input and concerns. First up, the court calls Beverly Greenwood. Reminder, Beverly, please state your name and which precinct you reside.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Beverly Greenwood. I'm precinct 2.
What's your name?
Beverly Greenwood, Commissioner Brown. I've been here a few times. Today, I'd like to touch on some of the things that Dr. Perdue discussed last week. On June the 3rd, John Polster's contract, Innovative Transportation Services, came up for discussion, and it was tabled. That contract expired on July 30th. So the question is it running month to month? I'll remind everyone that we pay him $15,000 a month. On June 3rd, when we were discussing the contract, Ms. Banerjee stated that the county would be delayed in their transportation projects without Mr. Polster and Innovative Transportation Solutions. When John Polster gave the update back on May the 27th, at that point he said 4 of the 7 trip bond projects were in progress, which included the now canceled Inner East Loop. So now that makes three projects that are in progress. Another project that was on the trip bond is Leonard Road. This week I was looking at the MPO TAC committee's meeting agenda, and it says this, I can't remember if it's Thursday or Friday, I think it's Thursday morning. It says that they're going to discuss TxDOT's request to decrease Leonard Road funding, which is a TRIP project, which is one of John Polster's project. They're going to decrease that funding along with more 1179 funding to go towards other projects. And then in the meantime, Bush-Welburn is increasing in price. That also is a trip bond project. That's also on John Polster's project list. I'm a little concerned that where's the money going? What is John Polster doing? I did an open records request on his emails. I let it expire. I didn't get the information because I can't remember. Maybe you recall. I think I was supposed to pay $150 or so to get a copy of those emails. You should be receiving those emails monthly from Mr. Polster, and since 2020, he's required to send a monthly email. I think that should be public information. I think it should be on the internet, and I don't think there should be any reason why I should pay money to have any information from those emails redacted. And then also on the TAC agenda for Thursday, it also, at the very bottom of the agenda, it discusses the thoroughfare concept and that possibly the MPO Policy Board is going to bring that up for the TAC committee to review the thoroughfare policy, but once again, the MPO policy board cannot do that until they have a request from somebody on the board to actually put it on the agenda. And as far as I know, Mr. Reg has not received a request. To me, that naturally is where that request would come from, since you all were the ones that canceled the NRE sloop contract. So those are my questions. I appreciate some information. Thanks.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Ms. Greenwood. The court now calls Christine Shimmick. Please state your name and the precinct you live in.
Christine Shemick, Precinct 2. And good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
So I wanted to talk a little bit about participating in public discourse and kind of my little bit of reflection I've been thinking about. So in November of 2024, I was told to select a line from a set that was on a map. And behind-the-scene discussions to produce this map actually began around 2017, maybe 2016. This begins my participation in public discourse. I was completely unaware, and I've been here since I came to college. And anyway, I was here when Kyle Field was still a horseshoe. Before I started investigating, I relied on the county officials, elected officials, to basically take care of things while I attended to my very busy life. Research about the map actually started with the No East Loop group, and when I started digging into it, I found there was an alphabet soup of three-letter agencies that support the same goal, but they have different objectives. And no one understands these. Most people are confused when these acronyms start popping up. COG, COG, TxDOT, DOT, BVEDC, that's the Economic Development Corporation, which I thought that was interesting. A corporation is found on the county website. GBP, that's a new one. Greater Brazos Partnership, and their line is they are the hub of the Texas Triangle, which is becoming a buzzword for development. MPO and RMA, of course. So why are there so many alphabet agencies with the same goal that include county involvement and taxpayer funding? And, you know, we've got this new one, RMA, so was that hindsight? Why do we keep adding these? It's becoming very confusing for people, and it's becoming very overwhelming trying to do the research to figure out why do we need all of these things. There also appears to be two main differences in courts. I've started thinking about courts, so I'm a little bit familiar with the county courts of law, civil and criminal cases, and then here's the commissioner's court, which is basically administrative. And a court involves two parties, the state and the people. So in Brazos County, it's split two ways. There's a commissioner's court and the county courts of law. There appear to be two main differences. Burden of proof is on the citizen, not the state. In this court, citizens use their own time and resources researching topics like three-letter agencies. Brazos County, the state has general counsel representation in court, but the people do not. The people fund activities for this court, yet we are expected to do our own research and participate at our own time and expense without counsel interpretation. I have a little bit of time left. That's basically all I wanted to say. Thank you.
Christine, thank you so much. Kathy, I'm working on this. The court now calls Kathy Viens. Much better? Thank you. Please state your name and the precinct that you reside.
Kathy Viens, Precinct 4. Several months ago, this court's counsel asked me why I keep coming to court every week for the last 2 years. He pointed out to me that the county tax burden is far less than that's assessed by the cities and the school districts, and so why am I here? And the agenda for today epitomizes exactly why I keep coming. It's not just the property tax burden that gets piled on us every time this year. It's the direction to big government and urbanization against the will of the people. Today's agenda adds state grant funds of $250,000 for public defender mental health, $987,000 for public defender juvenile, $1 million for Brazos County public defender, and the cost of these programs to the county taxpayers in exchange for these state grants, $978,000. The total of new expenditures, $3.2 million. I don't believe the new trajectory in court expenditures will be indefinitely supported by state grant funding. Do you? At a recent League of Women Voters, my commissioner spoke the quiet part out loud. She said the court's vision is to transform the Bryan College Station area into a mini Austin. I think that the Herculean efforts of Kyle Greenwood and the No East Loop movement should open your eyes to the fact that there is no appetite in this community for becoming another Austin. Tomorrow we'll hear the bottom line. How much will our tax bills be increased? I don't know of a single person on this dais who came out in support of increasing the property tax bills for the county residents when running for office. The positions of court judge, Commissioner Precinct 2, and Commissioner Precinct 4 will all be on the next ballot. Those of you who plan on being included on that ballot need to be prepared to defend your support for big government in Brazos County. Thank you.
Thank you, Kevin. The court now calls Cindy Wiley. Ms. Wiley, please state your name and the precinct you reside.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Cindy Wiley, Precinct 1. I'm approaching my 2-year anniversary of attending Commissioners Court meeting. Shortly after I started attending, I watched a gentleman who is part of this court stand up wearing this loud Hawaiian shirt protesting his property tax, as I was too. I think, we sit here and we watch every week people getting acknowledged for their volunteerism, their participation. But unfortunately, there was a period of time where we got criticized for participating, for bringing issues forth to this court. And I think for me personally, I would like to know that you guys hear us, that you acknowledge the value we share of bringing issues to you. Sometimes I think a lot of what happens here at this podium is rebuffed. Or if it's acknowledged, it's not acknowledged in an open forum so that the people watching and the people hearing understand that they're not going to be criticized for standing here and bringing issues. And I think that's a really missed point about what happens here at this podium. So that's my speak on that. We may be small in number, but we have a really great big reach. We're part of True Texas Project. We're part of signal groups, over 500 people on the signal groups. We've attended the convention. We've been delegates. I'm an election judge. We have participants, poll workers, and election workers part of this group. And I think there needs to be an acknowledgement of our participation. Week after week, we come here and we listen to all the money that is being spent. We look at the payment of claims. It's very agitating. Week after week, we track money and we watch the government get bigger and bigger. And that is not a good thing in our eyes. Each one of you sit where you are because an electronic voting system was used to determine you as a winner. I have been challenging the security of that machine for over 2 years. I understand for you to stand up there and say, yeah, I think we have some problems with these machines, would actually be putting your win in question. and I get that. But I think the moral compass of you as elected need to really take a look at the data and understand it. You can't just speak from you feel like it's safe and you feel like it works, no matter whether you worked elections or not. It doesn't matter. Look at the data. Look at the data. Every time I've come up here and spoken about the evidence of what we have on the machines, it gets twisted back where I'm insulting our EA. And I keep trying to keep that separate. It's a tool. She uses a tool, and we have challenged her on our voter roll maintenance. But other than that, I really, really believe our president is pushing us forward to eliminate the machines, and we need to get on board. And we need to prepare for hand counting. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Wiley. The court now calls Jody Quimby. Jody, please state your name and the precinct you reside in.
Jody Quimby. I'm in Precinct 2. I'm here today to offer comments and a few questions regarding the documentation and procedure used to appoint Kyle Cassell as temporary judge. Dwayne Peters recently issued a document titled Appointment to Fill a Temporary Absence in the Office of County Judge, dated June 29th. And that document referenced the Texas Local Government Code, Section 87.043B, as the basis for the appointment. Okay? The terminology used in the appointment document is not consistent with the code. It's not. It's obvious. The appointment document, terminology used in that document, in the title it says temporary absence. We all know that was the intent. It also says temporary vacancy. It says temporary absence 2 times, and it says this vacancy in the last sentence, okay? Texas code that's referenced doesn't include those terms, like vacancy. It only uses temporary absence, absence, and absent each 2 times. Never indicates vacancy. The code does not use the word vacancy or any iterations of the same. I understand that vacancy in this context indicates that a person no longer holds the office for which they were elected, and obviously does not carry the same meaning as absence or absent. The mixing of terminology in the appointment document brings up all kinds of questions, especially if you're a third party out there saying, what does this mean? So did Judge Peters voluntarily surrender the office of Brazos County Judge with the last statement in the document, which reads, this vacancy was created by my temporary absence and is effective immediately? I recall that the vacancy is not the intent of the appointment document. I think everybody that's been around knows that wasn't the intent. But that's what it says. It's a legal document. He signed it. It's notarized. Was the appointment of the temporary county judge conducted in accordance with the Texas Local Government Code, Section 87.043B, or is it invalid? No offense to you, Judge. No offense. The code, as I read it, I'm not an attorney. I'm not trying to be one. The code does have a remedy to set the record straight. Since 30 days has passed, that's one of the conditions for the judge to be able to appoint someone. The commissioners can appoint a temporary county judge. Just takes a motion and pass it. Please know that my concern is for the Brazos County judge to be held without any cloud or conditions that comes about by mixing the terminology in the appointment document. Do the right thing, okay? Set the record straight, please.
Thank you, Mr. Quimby. The court now calls Ann Boney. Oh, sorry, it is out of place. My mistake. What agenda, you're on agenda item number 10. I see that. It was my fault. Thank you for being here. Continue with citizen input. The court now calls Adam Perdue. Mr. Perdue, please state your name and the precinct you live in.
My name is Adam Perdue. I'm a resident of Precinct 2. I'm here today to ask a very simple question, and at any point in time, if anybody wants to answer it from up there, they can interrupt my 4 minutes and I will sit down. What is the current status of the contract with John Polster and Innovative Transport Solutions? This is a factual question which the court is allowed to answer at any point in time. It has no implications of the Open Meetings Act or anything like that. What is the current status of the engagement between Brazos County and John Polster and ITS? Is this a factual question?
Me or you?
To answer your question, it is now in a month-to-month status.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Perdue. Court now calls Patrick Gendron. Please state your name and the precinct you live in.
Judge, Commissioners, my name is Patrick Gendron. I live in Precinct 3. I'm here during this citizens portion to talk to you about the Juvenile Probation Department. I want to speak in support of them, in particular in support of the juvenile probation officers. The frontline juvenile probation officers that are working with our children in our community on a daily basis. They're doing yeoman's work. Think about this. You know, what's more difficult than dealing with a troubled teen? Right? Can you think of that? What's more difficult than dealing with a troubled teen? Then think about doing that for a living. Then multiply that 20 or 30 times. That's what your average juvenile probation officer deals with on a weekly, on a daily basis. You know, the county pays them for their work 8 to 5. But these probation officers, they're on call 24/7. When the rest of us are off on weekends, holidays, or while on vacation, juvenile probation officers, they're on call all the time. They're always dealing with crisis with the kids they're dealing with, their families. So let's say you got a juvenile probation officer that has 33 kids on their caseload. Because juvenile probation officers are dealing with, you know, parents, sometimes step-parents and grandparents or aunt or uncle, other guardians, you know, that's like having a caseload of 100 folks. So, you know, I just want y'all to remember, you know, I know at the workshop sessions there's not an opportunity for here citizens, and I've been to a couple over the past week or two, and that's not, there's not a forum for citizens to speak during those workshop sessions, but so I want to use this opportunity at this point in time just for you guys to keep in mind juvenile probation officers when you're considering your budget, you know, especially the frontline officers. And you know, we can have all kinds of programs, all kinds of facilities, but really it's that interaction, that personal interaction that probation officers have with kids on a daily basis. And so, you know, the probation officers, I can't emphasize how much they do. I work with these folks every day for the past 25 years. And it's that personal interaction that the probation officers have with them and their families and guiding them. So I appreciate y'all keeping the probation officers in mind when you consider your budget, and I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Mr. Gendron, thank you so much.
Thank you.
That concludes public comment, unless I missed anybody. Yes, sir.
I thought I submitted to make a comment on agenda item number 11.
Yes, but that will be on agenda item number 11. Thank you for your point of clarification. Commissioner Court will now proceed to agenda item number 3, the approval of proclamation 25-029 proclaiming the month of September as Childhood Cancer Awareness Month and declaring September 15th, 2025 as Spirit Day for Color Brazos Valley Gold. Do we have any representatives with us today? There being none, we will not read the proclamation in court and move to approval. All those in approval. We have a motion to approval and a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, same side. The ayes have it. Moving to agenda item number 4, approval of appointments and reappointments of the following to the Brazos Valley COG Criminal Justice Advisory Committee with terms of September 1st, 2025 and August 31st, 2027.
Move to approve.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? There being done, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same side. The ayes have it. Moving to agenda item number 5. Approval of the reappointment of Dr. J. Maddock to the Board of Health. Term of appointment is March 2025, March 2027. Any discussion?
Move for approval.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second?
We have a motion second. Any discussion? There being none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Agenda item number 6. Approval of judges and alternate judges submitted by the Republican and Democratic Party chairs for the November 4th, 2025 constitutional amendment election.
Move approval?
We have a motion. We have a second.
Second.
And a second. Any discussion? There being none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. The ayes have it. Moving to agenda item number 7, acceptance of the following fiscal year 2026 improvement grant awards from the Texas Indigent Defense Commission for the Brazos County Public Defender's Office.
I move that we table this issue, Judge. I don't know if I'll get a second out of that, but.
There is a motion for a table. Is there a second? There not being a second,
That died in a hurry.
do we have a motion for agenda item number 7?
Move to approve.
We have a motion to approve. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. Any discussion?
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Brown.
I've got all kind of problems with this. Anytime you get a grant, there's always these strings attached. And what they're asking us to do is to create 20 new FTEs for a total to the cost of the county of $3,549,000 at the end of 5 years. Is it 5 years? And what this does, it's a stair step, and it goes from 80% funding to 60% funding to 40% funding to 20% funding. And we make up the difference as a county all the way through. And at the end of that period, then we assume 100% liability. I don't know if anybody has asked the question, is this something we asked for? Did we ask for 20 new FTEs? Did we ask for an additional $3.5 million to be spent on a regular basis? So that's where my problem is, and of course, I'm going to vote against this.
Thank you,
Well, and
Commissioner
I'd
Brown.
like-
Commissioner Nettles.
So I think it's interesting, we got 2 former legislators, state legislators here, and the hooks in this grant come out of the state legislation. It's not the county. The county is required to provide this service to our citizens. So I'm always in favor of bringing money that we paid for out of our sales tax dollars that went over to the state back to our county. And look, if we reach that point and we run out of the grant funding, we can always lay those people off. I'll tell you, my cousin called me yesterday. She works at Angelina County Health District. They lost their grant funding and she got laid off. And they wanted her to resign. I said, don't resign. Yep, let them go ahead and separate you. But, you know, the ideal is this is temporary money. If we can use that to help our citizens, great. At the end of it, we have to assess whether the county wants to spend that kind of money, if we have that kind of money. But I cannot see turning down state funding in order to help our citizens.
Commissioners, any other comments at this time? We do have public participation.
I'd just like to add that it is a stair-step program, so the county's going to be out money every year. And then the county is out all of the money at the end of the grant program. And I tell you what, when's the last time this county has laid off people because a grant ran out? I don't think that happens.
Yes, it happened at the health department. The health department has lost grants and they've had to lay off people.
Okay, we'll see.
So
Commissioner Watson.
so I know that, because the first question I had when this came up was, what have we done in the past? How have we, because it is a mandate by the state that the county provide for criminal defense in terms of court defense. I won't call it criminal because not all are necessarily criminal. It is misbehavior. And so it is my understanding that we've had private support for these juveniles that has been done very well. There has not been any issues with that. With this grant, and I have mixed, I'm really concerned, but it's sort of like contrary to what is happening. Brazos County is growing. The need for this service is growing. I don't know how to balance the service that we've had in the past where it has been, apparently from what I hear from all corners, we've had excellent service. And so now with this grant, it will help to, with the volume that we have, it will help us to be able to serve our community in a way that is mandated by state statute and state law. So I don't know what to say in terms of that. I have concerns about the change, but I recognize that some of what's being offered enhances what we can do.
Thank you, Commissioner Watson. It is court's intention to call for public participation. Then I will ask the public defender, Nathan Wood, to come up, and then I think we will have some comments from Nina Payne as well. Is that correct? So at first, public participation, I call Patrick Gendron. Please state your name and the precinct you live on.
Judge, Patrick Gendron, I live in Precinct 3. So I'm just speaking to agenda item 7B, okay? And on that agenda item, the Public Defender's Office has requested grant money from the state of Texas to create a juvenile division. It creates 6 positions in that office. And when I run the numbers, what it amounts to is the county will be spending $500,000 more per year if they accept the grant money than they are currently spending under the current system of indigent juvenile defense. So the first year, it's a 4-year grant. The first year, the county would save money. The second year, it's a wash. The third and fourth year, the county would be spending more money than they would under the current system. And by the 5th year, like I said, the county will be spending more than double, almost triple, on indigent juvenile defense than they currently are spending. So you have that $500,000 a year savings, right? I think that money is better spent investing that back into the children of our community, back into the juvenile probation department. For that funding that you're going to hire, that $500,000 savings that you have per year, I'd say put that back into the juvenile probation department for the staff there, and for kids. Why don't we hire more counselors so that every child that needs a counselor can have counseling, have a therapist. When I was looking closer at everything, there's also a position that's created for an investigator, okay, a juvenile investigator, at the cost of about $128,000 per year. Well, I can tell you for a fact that we have not spent, in 25 years, we have not spent $128,000 in investigative costs in juvenile defense. So you're going to create a position for an investigator And we haven't spent that money in the past 25 years for an investigator, for any kind of investigative expenses. So if a juvenile defense attorney needs appointed on an indigent case, right? If you need funds for an investigator, you go to the judge, and none of the judges in Brazos County have ever denied that request. And so, you know, I think that money is much better spent investing that $500,000 that you would save, keeping the current system back into the community, back into the children, back into the probation department. So the main thing is, like I said, it's a grant. The first year, I think the county comes out ahead. The second year, it's a wash. The third and fourth year, it's a loss for the county as far as that is. Now, as far as capacity, I can tell you right now the current system, you know, works fine. There's not, in the foreseeable future, I don't see a problem with the current system continuing that way, whether it's me or someone else. But the capacity is not a problem. That is not an issue, Commissioner Watson, at all. Thank you.
Mr. Gendron, thank you. The court now calls Public Defender's Office Nathan Wood. Please state your name as well.
Thank you, Judge. Thank you, Commissioners. My name is Nathan Wood. I'm the Chief Public Defender for the Brazos County Public Defender's Office. I think the numbers show that the current system doesn't work fine. I think the numbers show that the current system is not equipped to handle the load that is facing our juvenile justice system in future years to come. If you go back to 2021, there were just over 400 referrals made. In 2024, there were 800 made. So the number of referrals has doubled. The number of filed cases in 2022 was 401. The number of filed cases in 2023 was 553. When I had the first quarter for 2025, there were 115 new juvenile cases added to the juvenile docket, signaling a high demand for juvenile legal services. And our private bar has been declining in size. Commissioner Brown, in response to your question, did anybody ever ask for this? The PDO was created in 2022 when Brazos County asked for its creation through TIDC because of the declining number of attorneys available to provide constitutionally required representation in our district and county courts. The number of attorneys that have been able to take those cases has declined over the last 10 years to the point where our current private attorneys that take those cases are overwhelmed. They frequently stop taking those cases. Fundamental to an attorney's work is knowing where their limits are. And so in order to meet an increasing demand, the county created, through TIDC's underwriting, the county created a public defender's office. Now, when it comes to juvenile services, the county is facing the same problem. Historically, the county has contracted those services out to Mr. Gendron. And I also, like Commissioner Watson, I have not heard any complaints about the quality of Mr. Gendron's performance, but the numbers also do not lie. And when you have the same resources being devoted to twice the work, then the quality of the representation is going to decline. The quality of the number of hours being spent on a juvenile's case is going to decline. And the model that we employ in the public defender's office is a model that has been shown in multiple studies to save money in the long run, and we take a holistic approach to representing both adults and juveniles that have intersections with the criminal justice system. So just to be clear about who we represent, all of our clients either struggle with poverty, addiction, severe mental health issues, or all of the above, combinations of those things. And so we're talking about constitutionally required, state legislature required services that the county has to provide. Either the county is sending those services to the private bar association, which historically Brazos County has done. The private bar has not kept up with the demand, and that is a fact of reality that the Public Defender's Office was created and established in order to address. Now, you mentioned 20 full-time employees. We're not asking to create 20 new full-time employees. The Public Defender's Office already has 11 full-time employees. The grants that you're seeing there, one of them is a continuing grant, and that is Bruce, do I need to stop?
No, you're able to continue.
That is a grant that continues funding our existing adult services. The juvenile and appellate grant create a capacity in our office to perform appellate work for the county, which the county has a desperate need for lawyers that do criminal appeals, and as well as a juvenile system. And that expansion creates 8 full-time positions. And then a third grant is a mental health division, which is a division that is specifically designed to address the increasing mental health concerns that are filling up our jail with people that are suffering from mental illness and that are burdening our courts with the same thing. The courts and the jails are not the place to solve problems caused by severe mental illness among the neighbors of our community. These are our people. These are Brazos County people that we exist to serve. These are our neighbors. And so, whether that funding is coming from the state or whether that funding is just coming directly out of the taxpayers to hire private attorneys to do the exact same work, it needs to happen. That work needs to be done. I'm happy to answer any questions that you have about the need for the Public Defender's Office, but I think since we created the Public Defender's Office, jail population is down, and part of the reason for that is that the Public Defender's Office rushes to meet the timing of what our grant requires in a way that the private bar never has. And it takes us on average less than 10 days to get out to the jail to meet with new clients. And that number is much higher for the private bar. We also applied for these grants because it has been, from the bench, from the bar, and from the internal county structure, we know that the county's long-term plan is to use the Public Defender's Office to provide indigent defense. And that's what, we've got offices being built across the street to house employees for that purpose. It's a demand that's not ever going to go away, and it's a service that the county is always going to have to provide. And we applied for grant funding in order to underwrite the creation of those processes, to lessen the burden on the county that of creating this new department from scratch. That's why we applied for the grants, and that came from our advisory board, which Judge Peters and Commissioner Watson sit on, and that has come from Brazos County at large. We didn't apply for juvenile grants because it's been my dream to be a juvenile justice provider, but we applied for it because the county has a strong need to continue providing those services and to plan for the future, which includes a greatly increased demand on the juvenile justice system.
Mr. Wood, thank you. I just want the court to know that I do have a head nod from Judge Hawthorne. He would be available for questions if you want continued questions after you ask Mr. Wood the questions that you have. So with that, Commissioner Brown.
I don't have any problem with filling the need, but I'd like to do that during budget time. What I see here, what really gives me pause is the state is telling us how much we're going to pay for each person and dictating the fact that we hire 20 people. And we don't know that. I mean, during all of our deliberations on the budget, you never came to us and said, I need 20 people, and I need to set all these salaries at this amount. That's what I have a problem with, that this dictates exactly what we're going to do in every one of these cases. That's the problem I have. I don't have a problem with supporting you and your needs, not at all. It's just the way this is all stipulated in here. So.
I understand, Commissioner, and that's a fair point. I think the grant applications went before Commissioner's Court very early in the year, before they went to TIDC. I was in the courtroom, available for questions, but none were asked. However, the salaries that are set and the recommendations of TIDC are just that, recommendations. The Commissioner's Court does have the authority to set salaries where the Commissioner's Court feels like are appropriate. The provision of grant funding is not contingent on the Commissioner's Court setting those salaries where they are. Now, I will say that the salaries are set and they are recommended and approved based on a 2024 statewide study of public defender salaries. And they are also set, one of the top priorities for TIDC is parity with local prosecutors' offices. And so when you compare the numbers in the 2024 salary study, as well as the pay that local prosecutors and their support staff are receiving, our numbers are very much in line with what those offices are doing. And if you'll read through the documentation that is attached to the grant applications, I think you'll see that. Back in December, through Open Records, I requested a copy of all the salaries of the local prosecutors, and I was able to go through and look at their years of experience and associate years of legal experience in criminal law with a particular salary, and that's how lawyers in Brazos County, or at least in the criminal justice part of Brazos County, tend to be compensated, is based on years of experience and not years with the county. And based on those numbers and based on the 2024 salary study, that's where TIDC set those numbers.
Well, yesterday, I want you to know that how boring my day was yesterday. I read every page of this packet from front to back. So, so anyway.
Well, I'm sad to hear that that was boring, Commissioner. I spent a lot of time writing every page in that packet.
Well, you could have thrown some jokes in there somewhere.
I'll remember that next year.
Okay,
but,
good.
But the grant application is a process that Brazos County started in 2022 and we came back for grant funding in 2023 and again in 2024. The expansions are necessary. I mean, it's a bigger deal this year because we're asking to expand our office, which we haven't done in previous years. We established a footprint. What we're doing, we do very well, and I think if you ask the bench, I think if you ask Judge Zachary, I think if you ask Judge Hawthorne, they would candidly give you an answer. We just want to take that model and we want to take that approach and apply it to juveniles as well.
Thank you. Commissioners?
Well, just one quick comment
Commissioner
before
Watson.
you go. So sort of piggybacking on what Fred said, one of the things that having written grants is that when you're writing a grant, you're going to write a grant in terms of the number of potential employees. You're going to write a grant to assure that you have the best grant possible to get what you want. And so I will admit that I sort of agree with him in terms of how large you're attempting to grow this part of the process. And I don't know if that is part of the grant says get it while you can, i.e. that means if you need to elevate the staff to 20 additional people, you're doing it and justifying it per the grant. Because I do kind of have some concerns about that. Because, like I said, what I'm understanding is you say the numbers don't lie, but I've not heard any complaints. It's just now the grant has come forward, and it is also time to possibly renew contracts. So now we have this, there are issues in the county. So I want to understand, and I would like to hear from Judge Hawthorne, because I guess from a court perspective, he will also give us insight into what he believes the needs may be.
Commissioner Watson, I'm just excited that you agree with me on part of my comments. So thank you.
Well, just in terms of, like you, I read the contract also, and I was just sitting there going, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. It makes it sound like the county is just, we're not being responsive, and I'm always people first, and in this case, youth first. And so I kept thinking, what's wrong with the old process? So all of a sudden, we see that, oh my gosh, there's this major problem and there's this major hole in the service that we're mandated. I know somebody had concerns about the money, but it is a mandate that we take care of our citizens. I don't have a problem with that. But I'm just concerned. So like I said, I'd like to hear from Judge Hawthorne about what, from a judge's perspective, because he'll have insight into the day-to-day of what he is currently seeing and potentially what can be happening at a late, in terms of the growth and some of the holes in it.
Absolutely. But before I release this this microphone,
Well, you have two more commissioners on my right, so get ready.
I do want to. I want to say one thing about the model that TIDC grant funding employs.
Right.
And there are research and evidence-based studies that look at the amount of time attorneys spend to effectively represent a juvenile or an adult that's caught up in the criminal justice system. And the very short version of what that study finds is that if an attorney is disposing of more than 140 cases per year, then they are not spending an adequate amount of time on the cases which they are disposing. And that what we have is a problem with effective assistance of counsel. The problem that has been experienced nationwide with indigent defense, providing representation to indigent defendants who are simply defendants that cannot afford to hire an attorney on their own. The problem that we have experienced nationwide is what we sort of colloquially refer to as a meet and plead, where a person comes to court, they meet with their attorney for 15 minutes before they enter a plea in front of a judge. And that's not effective representation. That's not effective legal representation. What is effective legal representation is an attorney who will give you a full set of advice concerning the charges that have been brought against you, and an attorney that will conduct their own investigation into the charges that have been brought. A factual investigation, as well as a mitigating investigation if there's going to be some form of punishment or a consequence imposed. And the increasing complexity of that work has shown itself over the last 10 or 12 years, especially since the passage of the Michael Morton Act. Okay, and so that 140 mark is built into the request that's been asked for, with 3 lawyers disposing of not more than 140 cases a year. That will begin to meet the current needs of the Brazos County juvenile justice system. So with that, I'm happy to hear what Judge Hawthorne has to say.
Mr. Wood, we have two on the right.
Oh.
Ms.
Wait,
Watson,
well, I have
parting
another-
shot, though.
Okay. So I'm a product of TV, like everybody else. You know, the DNA can be, y'all can get the DNA results back within an hour. So, but my question is, okay, watching TV dramas where you have court-appointed attorneys who work with those who can't afford attorneys, is that, you mentioned the local bar association can't, I guess, meet that need locally? That we don't, so is that what I'm understanding? So the court-appointed attorney idea is no longer a thing in Brazos County?
No, it is. There are still private appointments. Currently, the public defender's office handles about 1/3 of new misdemeanor cases and about 10% of new felony cases.
Okay.
But if you go back to 2019, there were 36 attorneys taking misdemeanor appointments on our wheel. 2019, there were 36. In 2025, there are 17. In 2019, there were 36 attorneys taking felony appointments. And in 2025, there are 22. In 2019, there were 21 attorneys accepting appointments on what we call 3G cases, which are aggravated felonies. Typically, we're talking about a murder or something involving a homicide or a crime against a child. Currently, there are 11. And at the time I wrote this grant application, one of our misdemeanor defenders was the only attorney in Brazos County that was accepting appellate appointments.
Okay.
Okay, and so like that's how the need has grown. The number of attorneys has been cut in half in some circumstances, and yet the cases that get filed into court continue to increase.
Okay.
Commissioner Nettles.
So I've been on that wheel. And one of the things that really concerns me is the mental health court, because I suspect that defending someone in the mental health court is a very specialized, requires a very specialized base of knowledge. What is the local bar's ability to support that?
Commissioner, I can speak anecdotally, and when I say this, I do not mean to disparage my colleagues in the private bar. I don't think any of them got on the wheel to do mental health law. But more and more, we find ourselves representing clients in the jail who deny the existence of their severe mental illness or that are resistant to treatment. And in the last few years, we've begun having hearings where courts are having to order medications be administered to people against their wishes in order to avoid having people starve to death in the Brazos County Jail. The circumstances that schizophrenic people live in inside the Brazos County Jail are frightening. When you go over there and you stand outside the cell and the person inside doesn't recognize you as their attorney or can't really even adequately state their own needs or even name sometime, that is a frightening thing. But that is something that goes on in Brazos County that sort of remains unseen, I think, by people at large. I think if people knew what was going on with some of the least people in the county, they would be here talking to you about it. So our mental health division is going to be devoted to providing training to the local bar as well as providing representation specifically to those cases, as well as taking care of whatever the defense needs are to the mental health court that we have established and is headed our way here in Brazos County.
So the other thing you said that caught my attention was you came before the court, or this issue came before the court in December, and the court approved you applying for this grant.
The application or the permission to request the funding came before the court. I don't remember exactly when that happened. I think it might have been February, but
Yeah, because we bought it.
I just don't remember when it came through. But yes, that did happen.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Condola.
I thought it was a real page turner. I couldn't put it down. My wife's been battling insomnia, and so as I read it to her, a second benefit was it put her right out. But it does say 20 positions, and then just now in comments, Nathan, I just need clarification.
Okay.
So we have 11 employees now. This is
Yes.
helping with current employees?
So there are 3 award letters
Right.
that you have from TIDC. One of them, the first of those is,
The mental health
well,
division.
there's one that is called Grant Award 21226C03. It's in the amount of $1,003,349. That is a grant that provides funding for our existing adult services.
Okay, that's what I wanted to highlight.
And,
is that
and there are 10 full-time grant employees under that grant.
yes, and that's a continuing grant.
Yes,
Okay,
we are fully staffed under that grant.
right. Okay, I just wanted to make sure that was reiterated. And then of the count, you said you have 11 employees. One grant is a continuing. You have 8 positions. You said for juvenile and appellate creates 8 positions, and then the third grant for mental health. Okay, I was just totaling the numbers. I'm sorry. I answered my own question.
You have accurately stated what these grants seek to do.
Okay.
Add 10 full-time employees to
Right.
the public defender's office.
Right.
So
But
you have
not
11
20.
So 11 plus
Correct.
10, not an additional 20.
Correct.
That's right. That needs to be clarified. Yeah,
Correct.
not 20 new
That's
positions.
correct.
Right.
This is not an ask for 20 new positions. I recognize that 10 new positions is still a lot, but we're creating a new division that began from scratch in 2022. I mean, I think that involves some periods of rapid growth in order to meet the needs.
Yeah.
Nathan, I'm all for giving you what you need. I mean, it's just, I get this hollow feeling every time I look at a grant, because there's so many things that are tied to it, and that's the only reason that I was outspoken against it.
I understand
believe in
that,
giving you
Commissioner.
what you need,
Thank you.
period. Yes, sir.
Well, and I share your concern too that Austin continues to tell us what we need.
Right.
Yeah, and
And that we have to
the
abide by.
judge and I, we never voted for those things.
So can we hear?
I think we
Mr.
call those
Wood, yes.
Unfunded mandates.
Judge
Mr.
Hartle?
Wood, thank you so much.
Thank you, Judge.
Yes, and the court would appreciate Judge Hawthorne. Sorry that I caught your eye in the nod, but welcome to Commissioners Court.
Wait, you're not wearing your robe,
Commissioners,
Judge.
Kyle Hawthorne. I think I live in Precinct 3. Judge of the 85th District Court. I'm here to answer any questions I can. Obviously, I wasn't prepared for this, but y'all have opened a door that there's a lot to unwrap. This is not any different from y'all's perspective than Road and Bridge or the other issues you're taking up. And so I understand that, but this is one that obviously, hopefully I know enough to answer some of your questions here today. Let me address the first part of this is what I sit down and
Can you
always
bring the
talk
mic
with-
closer?
No.
I'm sorry. Thank you.
That I always sit down and talk with people. I said, okay, this county is in a transition, as everybody's aware of that. Are we a big little county, or are we a little big county? That's what we got to figure out what we are. I think we're the latter because, even though we want to stay a small county, we got people moving here that we got to take care of, whether they've been here for 25 years, 30 years, 40 years, or lifetime, or said, well, great, College Station in Bryan and Brazos County is a great place to live. We're moving there. That's what we've got going on. The justice system is trying to adjust to that. And if you'll recall, I don't think we're, from the PDO's perspective, when we got this grant started, I came and recommended it after talking with attorneys, and I was not for a public defender's office. But I got convinced that's the only way we were going to address these problems that we've got coming up. And the idea, the overall idea was this was going to be a regional PDO. We were going to go talk to the smaller counties because we thought it would work better if we could get the surrounding counties to come in and. Oh, okay. Well, I didn't know that I was going to address that subject, but anyway, so that's what the whole premise of this beginning was. We're going to go and try to create this regional PDO. The PDO has been a godsend to us. And the reason for that is just what Nathan stated is, and I know people don't like this comment and are probably going to bark at me about it, we don't have enough attorneys. I bet every one of y'all would never say that we don't have enough attorneys in Brazos County. But in essence, that's what's happening.
Well, they're all retired.
They're all retired or other circumstances have come up. And so we have been, and you know, I hate to say it, but you'll probably see it in the future. Let me give you an example. We've got 2 appellate attorneys on the list that we can appoint. We used to have 15, or everybody was doing their appellate work. What the legislature did and the law that followed was it's better that we not have the same attorney appealing cases that we try, because there's always this factor now that's gotten bigger about ineffective assistance of counsel. And so instead of having to go through an appeal with one attorney and then the court saying, well, we've got to explore this ineffective assistance of counsel, send it back, appoint another attorney to see whether the first attorney did his job correctly or not, we're basically doing it twice. So we did away with all that. So we're going into specialization. Our current system of setting up and charging and paying for indigent defense is either a flat fee or an hourly fee. Most attorneys that would be doing this work and charging an hourly fee are probably making $500,000 to $750,000 a year. You're not coming anywhere close here with that. And so we're having this problem, okay, how much do we pay these guys? And we're slowly, I think we're going to get hit with a tidal wave of expenses, and I keep talking about it with Katie and all of them about, okay, how are we going to do this? But every attorney wants to charge attorney's fees on an hourly basis, because to try a case, the way the legislature has sent down things we've got to do, as again Nathan addressed, we used to, I remember going over and sitting in Judge Davis's jury room, and we would pick a ping pong ball. We'd go in there on Monday mornings, and the judge would say, okay, I need an attorney. We'd pick a ping pong ball. Whoever gets the number 1 is the first one up. He goes out there, talks with his client for about 30 minutes, enters a plea, and you charge them about $300. And so you could sit there all morning and get 10 cases and take care of them. Can't do that anymore. The legislature's required us to go through all this discovery process and all that, so it's at least 3 to 6 months before you can dispose of the case, even if the person wants to come in there and say they're guilty and get the case pled, because you've got to wait for all the discovery. And Commissioner Watson I heard her mention it about getting DNA back. If we get in a case where we've got DNA and forensics involved in it, because of the lack of funding from the legislature and the mandate related to discovery and not having enough forensic labs, which I think this county could get in and make some money on with their
medical examiners.
There will help us build many also.
That we could do some work and basically pay for the cost of our forensics that we have to do, especially with the university out here. But it takes us anywhere from, I had a capital murder case that I almost had to dismiss because we couldn't get the DNA back. I mean, a capital murder where they were seeking the death penalty because we couldn't get the DNA back. And I had all the forensic lab people in my court saying, why can't I get this back? And they couldn't answer me, and they wouldn't show up for court. I mean, I don't want to get into all these war stories because I know that's not where you want to go, and I don't want to take up all
Well, we're appreciative
time.
of you being here.
But that's the issues we're running into. Nathan hit on it, I think, and I don't know if it came across real clear, but these attorneys are limited by that grant on how many cases they can take. Was it 140?
For juveniles.
For juveniles. So they can only take 140 cases. So if I send a case over there and they are above their limit, no, we can't take it. So we got to go get another attorney to come in there and pay them to do it, and they say, I can't afford to do it. I remember I must have been committing ineffective assistance counsel my whole practicing attorney time, because I can't remember not having a caseload of criminal cases of at least 300 cases a year. And now they're limited them to 140, I think felonies are 125, 128. So that's the dilemma we're running into. And the justice system, Fortunately, in Brazos County, you know, people hear court-appointed attorneys and they think, well, you know, this guy doesn't know what he's doing. I can tell you that in Brazos County, I did court appointments for 28 years before I became a judge. And the average age and years of practice of the bar that accepts indigent defense appointments is probably 25 years. Really unusual. But they also want to get paid, and they're not going to continue to do it, especially these 3G cases that Nathan was talking about, without us increasing our pay. So we've got to decide, okay, we're going to pay the PDO, which also provides the same thing of being able to go out and recruit attorneys to come here. They can go offer a salary just like the DA's office can, say, come here, we'll give you benefits and do all those things that the other guys don't get. The guys that are practicing individually, having sole practitioner offices, and not having benefits and all that stuff, having to go pay for all that stuff, that PDO can recruit for us, which is one of the main reasons why we tried to create this PDO, to make it just like a law office, to go attract talent to come up here the same way most attorneys start in the DA's office, get some trial experience, and then go somewhere else. That's probably what that office would be doing too, but it's a good starting place. And then you may catch some people that want to do it all the time. But that's what we're trying to create with this PDO. And I agree with it. I mean, I can tell you when I first started, I wasn't not in favor of it, but I sat down with some other attorneys, even the local bar who really didn't want to do it because it came in on their business. But they said, well, we can't take care of all this stuff. So that's the impetus of that PDO. And I'm afraid this commissioner's court's going to see some requests to where we're some expenses. You go, golly, that's a lot. Like I've got a bill sitting on my desk that I have not paid for like $17,000 in appellate fees, where our flat fee on our indigent defendant is $2,500. They're just not, and they've told me I'm not going to do it anymore if we can't get paid by the hour. I got a new attorney that's a very experienced attorney out of Beaumont. He's done capital murder cases. He's moved up here. He wants to do appellate work. He's asked me, can I do it by the hour? And I went, I don't know. I'm going to have a meeting with the judges to see how we're going to deal with this, because I think we start seeing these $15,000, $20,000 to $25,000 bills for appellate appeals and paying for that. I know y'all are aware of this case I just tried out of Kent Moore. I haven't got the attorney's fees on that case, but I can't imagine what it's going to be. I would be surprised if it's any less than $45,000. That's not the norm. That's not what we've run into in the past. And with the growing population, and, you know, I know y'all hate to hear this. District courts are a drain on the county's money. We don't make any money for you. We lose money, in fact. Because if we go out there and you say, well, there's fines and fees and they can pay for all this stuff, you got to understand who we're dealing with. They're already indigent. And then if I go say, okay, well, I'm going to fine him $10,000, that money doesn't come to this county. It goes to the state if they pay it. And so we get very little of that money, and then they don't pay it, and there's really nothing. We don't have anything to enforce that with. I mean, we can throw them in jail again, but God, if I've already gotten 30 years in prison, you know, another 6 months doesn't do much. So that's the dynamics that we're having to try to work with indigent defense. And I think the PDO, you know, and Mr. Gendron, I mean, they do yeoman's work. He got up here and praised the accolades of the probation department, juvenile probation. I agree with him. I mean, these people work 24/7, and these attorneys do the same thing. I mean, and now the defendants have access to their emails. I mean, they can have access to their emails, and so they're getting, all the time, they're getting contacted by their clients, whether it's Monday morning at 8 o'clock or Friday night at 10 o'clock. They're still getting emails. And Judge Hilburn reminded me that they've changed the law 2 years ago, I think it was 2 years ago, is that right? Where it's not just required now that juveniles have indigent defense, it's required that juveniles have a defense, whether they got money or not. The state is required, or the county is required to provide them with counsel. So you've got all these dynamics that the legislature's passing, and as y'all, the people that have been there before are well aware that you got to say, okay, where's the money come from?
Mm-hmm.
So,
Judge Hawthorne, thank you. I'd never intended to put you on the spot like that, and if we're unprepared and you gave us that, I'd hate to see when you're prepared.
well, here's what I want to invite you to do, and I know and I understand Commissioner Brown's concerns. I mean, and I was in private practice for 28 years, and government budgeting has beat me up. I've given up, basically. I mean, given my age and all that, but having to go through the way we have to go through it, concerns me, but I understand it. And sometimes it's disjointed. And it seems like the right hand's not talking to the left hand sometimes. I know we presented this, and I know that it's in March, I think, is when these grant requests are due. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so it has to come before y'all, and it's not as critical as it is right now when you're looking at budget and seeing this grant and saying, well, God, what is all this? But I'd be happy if people will come over to my office, whether it's you guys or the public, whoever wants to come over and talk about those expenses. Some questions I may be able to answer, some I may not. I rely upon Katie and Marcy and them heavily, Nina, and call them all the time, asking them to run numbers for me or do this or do that. But I'll be happy to talk with anybody. If anybody's got a better idea of way to do it, I've got all ears.
Okay, it's my intention to start on the left. Commissioner Watson?
No questions, you've answered them all.
All right.
And thank you for affirming my
Thank you, Judge.
Commissioner Brown?
DNA comment.
Thank you, Judge.
That's a big problem. I'd love to get that solved, and I
Right.
think this county could do it.
Well, like I said, I'm glad we're getting our medical examiner's office, and I don't know if we can add, that's a cost, if we could add that part to that.
I think we could make it up because we can
Right.
provide that service to
Right.
the other 254 counties in the state that are
Well-
looking for places to send.
Right. Well, that's the context in which I
Evidence.
talked about the medical examiner's office, because it would relieve how long it takes us to get anything back from Austin when y'all have court cases. And so we become, my comment was, we become sort of a mini Austin in terms of our service through the medical examiner's office. So I think that would be an addition. And I
Well,
guess long-term, somebody will have to propose that for our medical examiner's office.
And the thing that concerns me, you brought up the mental health court, Commissioner Nettles, and, I hate to say this word, but the Veterans Court situation, but that creates its own set of problems. People look at it in a vacuum and say, yeah, we can help veterans. My dad was a veteran. I mean, it's not that I'm against veterans. My problem is that we don't have the services here in Brazos County. I can go tell people, you go do this, you go do that,
Right.
but then they come say, there's no place here to do it.
True.
So that's what's creating the problem with that. It's not the courts. We don't have the services, and that's where we come into this. Are we a big county or a small county? I mean, we need to recruit people like that to come in here and do that so that we've got the availability to do that, or we continue, right now, if they go into the Veterans Service Office, they send them to Temple. Well, that's what the court's going to be doing. So we're not doing anything different because we don't have the services available here. Okay.
Commissioner Collins?
I don't have any questions. I appreciate you bringing that out for the public to hear the complications with the judicial system in an
Right.
evolving county and in the time that we're in.
Commissioner Nettles?
Yeah, I really appreciate you taking time off the bench to be here. I know you got a busy caseload, but
Well, I had a case that fell out yesterday. That doesn't make me happy. I'd rather be sitting on the bench than talking with you, obviously.
come on.
But, it all comes around.
Yeah.
Well, it's really helpful to have that insight there,
It
because,
is.
I mean, the challenge, and I get it, I understand, the concern about obligating county taxpayer dollars, but I'm still, if we can get some of the state money back to support this for the unfunded mandate they required us to do, I'm all in favor of doing that anytime we can.
And I think to see the full the full exposure of this PDO and the benefits of it, if we would start going through that process of seeing if we can get some regional participation. And it requires the county and the commissioners and the county judges to go into these other, and I'll be more than happy to go with anybody that wants to go up there and talk with them about it. I know Nathan would be too, because I really think we could, you know, when we go to these judicial conferences, they talk about the model public defender offices, the PDOs, and I think we are on track for that. And a lot of these counties would be very interested in how we did that, because there's a lot of counties, kind of like Brazos County,
Right.
that are sitting on the fringes of these metropolitan areas that are looking at the same problem and trying to figure out how to solve it. But I called, right now, our indigent defense plan requires us to have attorneys. The only people that we can have on the list are people that have offices here or residents here or in contiguous counties. And I've talked to people about, we need to open that up to go down to Harris County. And people from Harris County want to come here. Every time I talk to them, I love coming up here because I don't have to deal with the problem is we don't pay them enough. And they said, well, we can't afford to come up here. So, you know, money is what's going to drive it. That's, as y'all are well aware, it's always money. So.
Judge, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
y'all.
We have a few more departments that would like to talk, and Judge Hilburn does not want to be left out. Judge Hilburn?
David Hilburn, judge of the 361st District Court in Precinct 3. And as you know, as a lawyer, I got two speaking in front of me. I feel like I need to say something too. And I did dress up for you today as well.
You look much better.
Thank you.
I noted that.
Nothing special, just maroon. A couple things, just want to try and close the door, especially for the public to understand, but for the court to understand as well. The Public Defender's Office, as needed as they are and as great job as they do, they are not ever going to be a 100% indigent defense solution.
Right.
You are always going to have others, and the reason for that is we got co-defendants, we got conflicts of interest because of prior representation. They represent the victim who is also charged with a crime. So there's other representation both currently in the adult system and the juvenile system. And that's why I think I worked with Mr. Gendron for 20 years, both as a prosecutor, as a defense attorney, now as a judge. You almost have to have a two-headed minimum system at juvenile, but within the adult system as well. So I just wanted to kind of close that door of, I don't want anyone to think that the Public Defender's Office, no matter how big you make it, is never going to be that's all we need.
Be able to handle it all, is what you're saying.
We will always need more. And
Okay.
They're not going to be sitting idle.
Exactly. And, you know, in the last 20 years since I've been here, the DA's office has grown, but it's had to, because in the 20 years I've been here, we talk about videos. When I first started prosecuting in 2000, the only cases that had video were murder confessions. Now, every single criminal case has a minimum of two, a body cam and a dash cam, and you also add in a download of a cell phone dump, where they have to attorneys that spend time evaluating the cell phone dump, multiple ring cameras, and the prosecutors do that on every single case. Defense attorneys have to do it for every single individual case they deal with. So that's part of the reason why that hourly rate has exploded, is because the evidence has exploded, requiring more time. And that's why the turn and burn, go plea in 30 minutes might have worked. Reading a report 30 years ago, it can't happen now, because the people deserve a defense looking at all the evidence before making that decision of what's against me, do I plea or not? Anyway, that's all I wanted to.
Any questions for Judge Hilburn?
Nope. Thank you.
Commissioners?
This was this was just a good, almost like a good hearing, because y'all helped us understand what we're looking at here in terms of the totality of the need and the expense.
Yes. Thanks for dressing up today, too.
You're welcome.
We appreciate it.
Thank you. Ms. Payne, Ms. Turner, Katie? None. Thank you all for your patience and time. Patrick, I don't know if it works that way.
Judge, I had 30 seconds left. The government lawyers
Whoa, whoa,
got
whoa.
more than 30 minutes.
Whoa, whoa,
I'd like
whoa.
my last 30 seconds if I could.
Just hold tight.
Judge, you're the chairman of this meeting, it's up to you. We don't keep 30 minutes
Correct.
when he sat down, but it's entirely up to you.
You have 30 seconds?
30 seconds, Judge.
You have 30 seconds granted.
30, the government lawyers got more than 30 minutes. I'd like to at least have my
You're,
last
you're,
30 seconds.
you're eating your 30 seconds.
Okay. Judge, what I'm saying is the need is being met, okay? I've been in juvenile court for the daily basis for 25 years. No offense to Mr. Wood, I don't think he's ever practiced in juvenile court. So I know the needs that the community has, and I know that the juvenile division anyway. I'm not talking about the other parts of the grant. Just talking about agenda item number 7B, creation of the juvenile division. I'm just talking about that. Those needs are being met. And the county currently pays $337,500 a year. So $337,000 per year. With the grant, the county will be paying close to $900,000 per year. So it's just a matter of whether you want the private sector to perform that service or the public sector. And for whatever reason, 2 lawyers and my staff, we can handle those caseload. It looks like it's going to take 6 or more people to do that in the public sector.
Mr.
So,
Gendron, thank you so much for your time, your commitment, and what you've done for the juveniles and speaking with us all this week and the weeks prior. Commissioners Court, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Moving to agenda item number 8, approval request for the District Attorney's Office to apply for the SB 22 Rural Law Enforcement Grant fiscal year 25-26.
Move for approval.
Motion, do we have a second?
Second?
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? There being none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Agenda item number 9, approval for request to issue a Diners Club credit card to the acting county judge Kyle Cassell with a credit limit of $5,000 for travel, conferences, business, lunches, and various department expenses.
Move for approval.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Judge?
Yes, sir.
Can we get something other than, I don't have a problem with you having a credit card, but this is the same issue. We keep issuing this Diners Club Visa. Is there not a reason?
Charles
we
is
can't-
on his way, and he
Can't
is
get a
almost
credit-
done with his work to move from Diners Club.
A credit
from what I
card
understand.
that actually pays the county back? I mean, we can't be the only county that issues credit cards.
I've been beating on him for 2 months now, Charles,
Yes, sir,
right?
at least.
He looks like he has good news based on his face.
That's why I have to wear long sleeves.
Mr. Went, thank
But
you
I'm-
for rushing up here so quickly. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Commissioner, that is a very good point. I did not want to tell one of my 5 bosses, the judge, that he needed to wait another month until we actually get the credit cards in. We anticipate that contract, assuming we can get the few questions that remain, we anticipate getting that contract on next week. This was simply a stopgap measure to issue the Diners Club for that interim, because it will take time for the court to approve, to get the documents and all finalized, and to get those new credit cards in. So this was an attempt to, in expediency, efficiency, to try to get that. So, so
Okay.
duly noted, help is on the way.
Appreciate
pleasure.
your comments.
Thank you, Charles.
Mr. Went, thank you. No. Commissioners, any questions, any more discussion? There being none, is there a motion
Motion to approve.
Second.
and a second? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. The ayes have it. Agenda item number 10, approval request for the Brazos Center for rental rate increases beginning in 2026 with subsequent increases every 3 years over the next 6 years. We do have public comment on this one, and I do know
Well,
we
move for
have the
approval.
Brazos Center. Do we have a motion?
Move
So
for
moved.
approval.
And a second.
Second.
And a second from Mr. Brown, Commissioner Brown. We do have public participation. The court calls Ann Boney. Ms. Boney, please take your time and state your name and the precinct you reside in. Good morning.
Good morning. Ann Boney, Precinct 4. Good morning, Commissioners and Judge. I have been thoroughly educated this morning. I know it's not what I'm supposed to talk about 10, but thank you, judges, for all your input. Because y'all know how I work. Y'all look at me when I come into your courtrooms. Oh, why is she here now? But anyway.
Glad to have you daily.
10. Commissioner Nettles, when he opened up this morning in his prayer, he asked that we consider the needs of our community. how much of an increase are we to expect with this increase for the rental of the Brazos Center? We are almost rental rated out, some of us in our organizations where we use these venues that's affordable for us. Now, when I think of the Expo Center and Legends and Hilton, we cannot, a couple of the organizations that I'm affiliated with, we cannot afford those rental rates. So the Brazos Center is the only place that we can go that gives us a fair rate. Instead of a rental increase from the community, can we look at a budget increase from within? I mean, I don't know how you set your budget. I don't know when you set your budgets, but instead of increasing those of us who are merely making our annual events possible because of the rental rates of these places, the Brazos Center is the only place where we get a fair rate for rental. And so if you're going to increase it, and I'm sure the people out there, whomever sets the increase, probably think that it's a good thing. Are we increasing it for budget purposes, for payroll purposes, or why the increase? I do understand, Commissioner Brown, that some of the things that go wrong out there, and they may need to have maintenance done or whatever the case may be. I do understand that, but I'm hoping that there's a way that we can work around this where we don't have to give a big increase for those of us who are merely making enough to even rent the Brazos Center. Thank you so very much.
Ms. Boney, thank you. And I do believe our director of the Brazos Center is here. And while she makes her way up, please be patient with us. Good morning.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. Joanna Spencer, Director of Brazos Center.
Thank you for being here, Joanna.
We have not had an increase at the Brazos Center since 2015-16. It was a very small increase at that point. We've always tried to keep it affordable for the community. That was what I was told we were expected to do when I took the job, that the Brazos Center was built for the community and to remain affordable for the community. In the last 10 years, we have done a renovation. We looked at trying to do some kind of a small increase back in 2020, but COVID hit, and then we decided to table that. So now we've gone almost 10 years without any kind of a increase, and we have done a market analysis that you asked for back in April. And we are very under market. Not that we're trying to make a profit. We are only trying to meet our expenses, which we are not doing at this moment.
Commissioners, any questions? Joanne, is it, to my understanding, Commissioner Watson, I apologize, you're the only facility in town that rents by the square foot and includes tables and chairs at no extra cost, correct?
Correct.
Commissioner Watson.
Well, no, I just note that, I attend a number of events there. Most of them are for nonprofits. And so I can appreciate Ms. Boney's comments.
Yes, ma'am.
Because we have a number of nonprofits that, like, I guess in terms of the service you provide, they have limited resources. And so I hope that, I don't know what the going rates are for other facilities around or venues around town, but I hope that we don't price those community organizations out of the ability to have their events at like I said, I just don't know what, I don't
Yes,
know what to
ma'am.
compare to. And
I have a
just hope that-
comparison sheet if you would like to see that.
Okay, yeah. But I just hope we don't price those nonprofits
Right.
and those small community organizations out, because I've been to their events. They have, y'all provide great
Yes.
service, but they also have really nice events there, because I do recognize that other venues have, it's just gone through the roof.
According to the comparison that we did, we are still going to be the most affordable in the
Okay.
community. We will be along the lines of the community centers that are there, not the Hilton or any of those other places that are out there. We will remain in the price range of other community centers.
Okay.
Right now, we are charging about $10 a square foot.
Okay.
So we will, we're looking at an increase to about 21 cents a square foot.
Well, maybe the volume that, because you all will be the possible default, maybe the volume of events will also help offset some costs.
Yes, ma'am. Right now, we do have 472 roughly events, daily events out there. But that's in all the rooms, and we have multiple rooms other than just the ballroom. The ballroom is the largest, which is a little over 13 square feet, which it is the one that gets rent the most.
And Joanne, just to help Ms. Boney,
Yes.
you were pretty much booked out 3 to 4 years, and this new rate won't hardly affect anybody until almost 2029, 2030.
We are booked out, yes, sir. 2026, we have 5 Saturdays that are still available. So those contracts, we will honor the current price.
Correct.
And so it'll be a gradual increase.
And before you readjusted these rates, you were the lowest in the entire county of every
sir.
venue.
Probably surrounding.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, so
The
thank you.
Brazos Center
Yes,
is
sir.
a jewel. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Commissioners, any questions?
Nope.
Joanne, thank you.
Thank you.
So we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, same side. The ayes have it. Moving to agenda item number 12, approval of the National Opioid Settlement. Oh, I missed one. I apologize. Back up. Agenda item number 11, approval for the fiscal and personnel agreement between the Brazos County and the Regional Mobility Authority. Do I have a motion?
We have to get this, so move.
A motion and a second?
Second.
And a second. Commissioners, any comments? We do have public comment. Move to public comment?
Nope.
No comments
from
from
me.
the bench. All right, please
I'm just,
excuse me.
I'm just curious why we even have a regional mobility authority, but I'm
Legislature.
probably the only one.
Public participation. We have first up Kyle Greenwood. Kyle, please state your name and the precinct you live in. And I apologize for glassing over that. Did not do that intentional.
Good morning.
Welcome, Mr. Greenwood.
Kyle Greenwood, Precinct 2. So in this agreement with the RMA, the court is ensuring the RMA's survival. Of note, RMAs are not formed with any kind of voter approval. They're independent local government agencies or political subdivisions similar to an ISD. However, unlike an ISD, the people of Brazos County were never given a say as to whether we wanted an RMA or who runs the RMA. Unlike school boards that are elected by the citizens, we have no say in who are the members of the RMA board. Today I reference a 110-page document titled Regional Mobility Authorities in Texas, authored by the Texas A&M Transportation Institute, and explains the history and functions of RMAs in the state of Texas. So let me explain my concerns with an RMA. First, on page 10, it says, an RMA can independently generate revenue for their region's transportation-related projects. And then in the back of your handouts, for instance, there are notes, it says, in the very first meeting of the BC RMA on January 30th, 2020, the minutes state that they were considering creative ways to raise funding, including a fee for students.
Kyle, one more second. I think we're passing those out currently.
Just want to get
The
these in our hands.
Commissioner trying to
Yes.
catch up.
This
Sorry
doesn't,
about that.
should not count against this time.
No, you have, continue. Thank you.
You said, sir, page 10?
Page 10, an RMA can independently generate revenue for their region's transportation-related projects. And then in the back of your handout, there are notes from their first meeting on January 30th of 2020, where they were discussing creative ways to raise funding, including a fee for students at Texas A&M. Now, as a parent of a Texas A&M student, I got issues with that. Also on page 10 of the book, the board is selected by the county commissioner's court or city council, and the presiding officer is appointed by the government. I object to the lack of public involvement in picking the members, and I believe there is a serious conflict of interest when the board members' profession, such as realtors or engineers, may be benefited by the decisions they make as members of the board. Then on page 3 of the document, recording requirements are minimal and may not capture detailed financial and operating data. Annual reports and financially audited statements describe some major project details, but oftentimes lack detail on project expenditures, schedule, and progress. As taxpayers, We should all take issue with this. On page 17, RMAs have the same powers and duties as TxDOT with regard to condemnation and acquisition of real property for transportation projects. This is disturbing for obvious reasons. And then finally on page 17, they enjoy a relatively high level of flexibility regarding funding operations for transportation projects. They are authorized to issue bonds, levy tolls, apply for grants and loans, and receive assets from any source. RMAs are in Chapter 370 of the Transportation Code under turnpikes and toll projects. There may have been no intention to create a toll road when it was formed, but the winds of change blow. Politicians come and go, but the toll road to hell is paved with good intentions. So in conclusion, I do not believe the RMA is a transparent organization that would represent the citizens of Brazos County well. I ask that you deny further funding an organization that the citizens do not have any participation with. Finally, I've reached out to Chairman Mooney, and I'm trying to meet with him to address some of these concerns, but I've not been able to meet with him. And then, for the record, I'm happy to come up and visit with you all anytime.
Mr. Greenwood, thank you so much. Court now calls Christine Shimmick. Thank you, Ms. Shimmick.
Christine Shimmick, Precinct 2. I want to address the, let's see, Article 4 of this agreement. Article 4 being fiscal management and disbursement. So item 4.01, and what I've done is I've summarized it. Do I need to read the items?
Only if you wish.
Okay, so item number 4.01, in summary, the county will pay whatever the RMA says is needed if the county has the money, and the RMA will try to pay back the county within 30 days if it can find the money. How much money? 4.03, the RMA will set its own budget and will not be accountable to the county oversight, but will expect invoices to be paid. How much money? Item 4.11, whatever the RMA deems necessary costs will be paid, and the RMA will try to reimburse the county in 30 days. How much money? 4.07, the RMA will decide how much staffing it needs for its needs. How much money? 4.09, the RMA can hire or fire as deemed necessary, and this does not require approval by the county. How much money will the county be paying? 4.12, if the RMA takes an action and is sued, the county will pay and the RMA will reimburse the county. The RMA is not liable. Considering that the RMA has eminent domain powers, lawsuits are likely. How much money will the county pay? Okay, in my conclusion is that this is an open-ended agreement that essentially says whatever the RMA wants and needs, it is not questionable by the county commissioners regardless of the dollar amount. This agreement is essentially filled with catch-22 items. The taxpayer will be committed to pay, but the amount is still unknown. Once the agreement is signed, it becomes a contract. The people don't have counsel. We have to do our own research. And again, looking at this Transportation Code, Section 370.004, costs attributable to a transportation project and incurred before the issuance of bonds to finance the transportation project may be reimbursed from the proceeds of the sale of the bonds. So here's what I'm recommending. First of all, the county's going to pay everything, and the RMA is able to get voters to pass. If the RMA is able to get voters to pass a bond, then the county will still pay. So I'm recommending that, number one, identify the dollar amount of this agreement before it is signed as a contract, and bring this to a referendum vote. I have 51 seconds. I want to mention a trivia item, just we need some lightening up here. Kyle Hawthorne, the student, was, I believe, hit the first Aggie home run out of Olson Field. He was a cleanup hitter against UTC, and if I'm not mistaken, it was in the second inning.
You didn't get any bubbles either, did you?
What?
I tell people, that's the only thing I'm known for. Over 40 years of law practice,
Ms. Shimmick, thank you for that.
Thank you.
And thank you for the detailed questions. Next public participation, Mike Sutherland. Mr. Sutherland, please state your name and the precinct you reside in.
Mike Sutherland, Precinct 3. And in the rental area, I recommended that you try the VFW and the American Legion. They have some really good rooms, and they're less than the Brazos Center. But on the RMA, on the subject, I got her outside.
Oh, good. I was looking for, make sure she's listening.
And on the current item, on the RMA, we voted some time ago not to fund that. And we said, don't give them money, essentially, and you're giving them money to perpetuate them, to take care of them. And this is like the CIA does. They draw a picture over here what something's going on, but it's really happening over here. So we said, don't fund them, so please don't fund them. And the contract, like they already told you, is terrible. I mean, it's open-ended. You were worried about spending money. Well, this says you're tied up to whatever they decide to spend money on. So please abide by our previous direction and don't give them money. We don't need them. We don't need anyone else taking our property or have the ability to condemn our property. Thank you very much.
Mr. Sutherland, thank you so much. Court now calls Adam Perdue.
He had to go pick up his daughter, so he had to leave.
Thank you for that, Mr. Greenway.
I'm just going to assume he wasn't for it.
He said ditto to Kyle.
Thank you so much. The court now calls Marcus McDonald. Thank you for your patience.
Well, thank you for my procedural correction. Marcus McDonald, Precinct 2, and I'm talking about the funding for the RMA. Just as it was mentioned before, back in the trip bond of 2022, Prop B failed, and that was for the funding of the RMA. Therefore, I agree that we should not be funding the RMA, since the public did not favor of the funding of the RMA at that time. Also, in that same spirit of not funding the RMA, I believe that taxpayer dollars should not be used for an entity, government entity, that is selected and not elected. And in parallel to that spirit of the funding RMA, transparency needs or requires that future bonds for projects in the city be submitted, developed by can be submitted by the RMA, but they need to be submitted to the public so they can approve the bond or not approve the bond. And that would be very transparent, and that's what I think the public essentially called for at the voting down Prop B of 2022. And the main sticking point of the RMA is that it's an entity that is selected and not elected. Therefore, the public has no recourse on what the RMA does and how they do it. Thank you.
Mr. McDonald, thank you. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, our county auditor, Ms. Katie, would like to be available for questions to the Commissioners Court after a statement.
I just wanted to point out that there's 4 entities.
State your name
I'm
for the
sorry,
court.
you
I'm
are
sorry.
so right. Katie Connor, County Auditor, Precinct 1. The RMA is funded by 4 entities. The original funding was $15,000 each from both cities and Texas A&M. The current funding was this year, it's $10,000 each, same 4 entities. The main purpose of this agreement is to define the financial report presentation, because basically the funding now is just to pay for the audit, financial independent audit that's required every year. And also, I don't know that Commissioners Court can disband the RMA. I don't know that we've done any research into how that would actually happen, so that may be something y'all need to discuss. But right now, the funding is just to pay for the outside audit. Auditor's office prepare the financial statements in-house.
You may not be able to answer this, but I remember when I was a candidate that we have what we call the public-private partnership. And so this sort of falls under that. It's not exclusive, they're not exclusively with the county. Who can answer that?
They do not have a separate EIN number, I can tell you that. They are under we used to have one of the employees from the Metropolitan Planning Organization assisted the RMA when it was first created. That's not happening anymore either, but I don't know about the public-private.
Partnership.
Correct.
Katie, it says in here, in Article 5, this agreement may be terminated in whole or in part by either party hereto.
That would be, I don't think that's disbanding the RMA, though. I think that's just saying I don't have to do the financials anymore. But if you want to do that one, that would be awesome.
Commissioners, any other questions for Katie? There being none, thank you, Ms.
Thank you.
So we have a motion and a second. Any discussion in court? There being none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign.
Aye.
Oh, we got two.
Was that 3-2? Just for clarity. Thank you. Moving on to agenda item number 12. Approval of the new National Opioid Settlement and authorization for Acting County Judge Kyle Cassell to sign the subdivision participation and release form and related documents necessary to effectuate the settlement.
Move for approval.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? We do have a public participation. The court now calls Mike Sutherland. Mike, please state your name and the precinct that you reside in.
Mike Sutherland, Precinct 3. This is more about your authority than it is about this document. As stated earlier, there's a question about, nobody's really defined what your role can be or is. I've done a lot of research on it through the AI and all that kind of thing, and it doesn't define what an acting judge's ability is. And since the judge we voted in office hasn't said what you can do for him, that's a question. I've sent emails to the different local authorities to try to get a definition, and they haven't been able to do that yet. And so I'm waiting on trying to get an answer for that. But as regards to this specific item, you have to swear that you have the authority to sign this. And I don't think you can, because do you have anything in writing that gives you the authority to do any of this stuff? That's my question. Who's the judge? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sutherland.
One, Judge Cassell is the acting county judge, and two, the motion that's before the court is what gives anybody, in this case, the acting county judge, the authority to sign the document. So if this is approved by the court, that's the authority that he would be relying on.
Commissioners, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. The ayes have it. Agenda item number 13, award of RFP number 25-122, PREA Auditor for Brazos County Adult and Juvenile Detention Centers. The recommended award is to the Corrections Consulting Services.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? There being none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, same side. The ayes have it. Agenda item number 14, approval of contract 26-041 LexisNexis for the county attorney investigators.
So moved.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? There being none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, same side. The ayes have it. Agenda item number 15, acceptance of special warranty deed from Ralph and Judy Stevener for .0414 acre land to be used for the improvement of Opportunity Lane. Site is located in Precinct 2.
Move for approval.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
I just want to thank the Steveners for working with the county on this issue.
There being no more discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. The ayes have it. Agenda item number 16, consider and take action on the Wixon Creek Special District Utility Permit to construct a road bore at 5406 Old Reliance Road to provide water services. This is a resubmittal of a previous request to correct an address number error approved during the August 12th, 2025 Commissioners Court meeting. Site is located in Precinct 2.
Move for approval.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
It was a clerical mistake. 5032 is the address originally approved. That was not correct. 5406 is correct, so that's what this motion is today, is to correct that.
Thank you, Commissioner Collins.
There's not a hole under the wrong address out there.
Any further discussion? There being none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same side. The ayes have it. Number 17, tax refund applications for the following.
Move for approval A and B.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. The ayes have it. Agenda item number 18, budget amendments, fiscal year 24-25 budget amendments, 42.01, 42.06.
Move for approval.
We have a motion.
Second?
Do we have a second? We have a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. The ayes have it. Agenda item number 19, personnel change of status.
Move for approval.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? There being none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. The ayes have it. Number 20, payment of claims.
Move for approval A and B.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? There being none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. We will skip down to agenda item number 23, acknowledgement of the investment report for the quarter ending of June 30th, 2025. Agenda item number 24, acknowledgement of the fiscal year 2024-2025 budget to actuals by fund as of August 14th, 2025, and the acknowledgement of fiscal year 2024-2025 contingency budget to actuals by fund as of August 14th, 2025. Moving to agenda item number 25, the Juvenile Director's Report on Detention Population. Linda, good morning.
Good morning, Judge and Commissioners. We have 21 in detention, 17 males, 4 females, and 27 on electronic monitor.
Thank you
Thank
so
you, Linda.
much. Agenda item number 26, the Sheriff's Report on Inmate Population. Sheriff Wayne Dickey.
Morning, Judge, Commissioners. 748 this morning. 631 men, 117 women, and 44 on monitoring.
Sheriff,
Thank
thank
you,
you. Any
Welcome.
questions for the sheriff? Thank you, Sheriff Dickey. Announcements and interest items and possible future agenda topics. Commissioners.
Yeah, I would like to just announce former District Judge Rick Davis and my classmate, his funeral service is going to be Thursday, August 28th, visitation with the families from 9 to 11 at the First Baptist Church in Bryan, and his funeral service is from 11 to noon at the First Baptist Church of Bryan.
Thank you, Commissioner Nettles. I would like to reiterate that we will continue day 7 of the budget today at 2 p.m. in this very courtroom, as well as make a note that the ITS contract is under review and due to the fact that we have one less project on it. So as soon as we get that contract negotiated, we will bring that to you. Just point of information. At this time, it is.
I was
yes.
going to just,
Oh, Commissioner Condrela.
I'm just going to nag everybody. I won't be at the workshop this afternoon. I'm going to have some precancerous tissue taken off. This being Childhood Awareness, Cancer Awareness Month, I think from the time I was born to the time I was 12, I might have been wearing a shirt 50% of the time. Donald says it's 40. He was across the street. But I think it was 50. But anyway, just a great time, just a great example. I'm going to use my issue as an example. Just make sure to get yourself checked. A lot of us played, and we played back in the day, especially before there was a lot of sunblock and emphasis on that sort of thing. So just take a time, make an appointment, and get yourself checked out. Make sure any little spots that you think are fine on your body are fine, because they might not be fine. So I just wanted to bring that to the forefront. Everybody take a moment, make an appointment, get yourself checked out, make sure you're okay.
I will piggyback on that. My good friends have a son that's 5 years old that just beat a brain tumor and then took the port out and then rescanned, and it had taken his entire body. So I would ask that the court and the county pray for my good friend Crockett Abraham as he goes back in to MD Anderson, since it is Childhood Cancer Awareness Month, and prayers for their family. It is now 12 noon on the dot, and the Commissioners Court of Brazos County will meet in executive session.
Executive session.
Go into executive session.
But you have to read it.
Since we're going into executive session under section 551.0725, I just wanted you to know that I have made my written determination that deliberating open court would be a detriment to the position of the county, and filed that letter with the court. And we ask you to unanimously vote to go into executive session on that issue.
Thank you, Bruce. We will now move into executive session at 12 noon and 35 seconds. Nope, we need a motion to go into executive session. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
I got Commissioner Watson as the motion. Who seconded?
Fred
No, no,
Brown,
no,
Commissioner
I
Brown.
didn't do the motion. I didn't bring.
I did.
Excuse me,
Fred did
Commissioner
the
Brown
motion.
made the motion, Commissioner Watson made the second.
Gotcha. Thank you. And what time?
At 12 noon and 32 seconds.
And who do you want in there?
I do not have that paper in front of me.
Do we know who we want in executive session?
That one could be Ed.
I'm double checking.
That would be Katie Connor.
Katie Connor, Bob Lampkin,
Myself, Bruce, and Allison.
Bruce Allison, and Ed Bull,
And me too.
and Aubrey. bill that I didn't get to yet, but they really want me to be at. Everybody in? It's 12:17 and the Brazos County Commissioners Court reconvened after executive session. There was no action taken. All those in favor, no motion needed. We are now adjourned, 12:17.